Welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most powerful books on human connection and communication, How to Talk to Anyone, by Leil Lowndes. But this isn't just a book about talking. It's a practical guide to unlocking your social potential, helping you speak with confidence, build instant rapport, and leave a lasting impact on anyone you meet. In this summary, we'll break down the book's most valuable insights. Simple techniques with powerful results. Whether you want to improve how you connect with strangers, speak more confidently in front of a crowd, or navigate professional conversations with ease, you're in the right place. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who doesn't have to say much to command attention? Someone who simply walks into a room and somehow everyone notices? Maybe you've wondered, how do they do that? Is it natural charm? Were they born with it? Here's the truth. Yes, some people seem to have that charisma naturally, but many others learned it. They trained themselves step by step to master the art of connection. If you look into the stories of today's most confident speakers or successful leaders, you'll often find that they once struggled just like you might be struggling now. They weren't always confident. They weren't always great with people. But with time, the right strategies, and a bit of courage, they became powerful communicators who know how to influence, inspire, and connect. And the best part? You can too. This book offers tools to help you do just that. From reading body language to using the right words at the right moment, to making others feel seen, heard, and respected. We'll explore how things like eye contact, posture, tone of voice, and even silence can speak louder than words. Because communication isn't just what you say, it's how you make people feel. If you find value in this summary, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future audiobook summaries. And we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or let us know which book you'd like us to cover next. Now, let's dive into the key lessons from How to Talk to Anyone and unlock the secrets to meaningful, magnetic communication. The power of a strategic smile. They say actions speak louder than words, and when it comes to communication, that couldn't be more true. In fact, research suggests that nonverbal cues can be just as powerful, if not more, than the words we speak. That's why first impressions matter so much. We often hear the phrase, "first impressions last," and it's true. People tend to remember how they felt the very first time they met you. And more often than not, what leaves the strongest impact isn't what you say, but how you carry yourself. Renowned caricature artist Robert Gross has an eye for personality. Even when he draws people he knows nothing about, his illustrations often capture their essence. Why? Because personality isn't just spoken, it's seen. It reveals itself through posture, movement, and energy. In the world of communication, body language is a window into your intention. And that starts with something incredibly simple, your smile. Why your smile matters. Many people underestimate the power of a smile, especially in professional or leadership roles. They assume being serious earns more respect. But here's the truth. People are naturally drawn to warm, expressive faces. Yes, high-level executives and public figures may smile less, but when they do, it leaves a lasting impression. Their smiles carry weight, So should yours. But it's not just about smiling, it's about how you smile. Enter one of Leil Lowndes' signature techniques, the flooding smile. Here's how it works. When you greet someone, don't smile immediately. Instead, look at them softly for a few seconds, absorbing their presence. Then, let your smile slowly emerge, warm, genuine, and real. This technique makes your smile feel intentional, not automatic. And most importantly, it makes you appear more authentic and sincere. A story that proves it works. Leil shares a powerful story about her friend Missy, a woman she always remembered for her big, radiant smile. But when they met again after some time apart, Leil noticed something had changed. Missy, who had taken over her late father's business and was now meeting with high-level clients, seemed more reserved. Her usual bright smile had become more measured, more deliberate. Missy later explained that she had once been advised, "In the corporate world, a woman who smiles less is seen as more professional." And while that advice may seem counterintuitive, Missy's new approach, a slower, more thoughtful smile, made her seem not only confident, but also more credible and emotionally grounded. It wasn't about smiling less. It was about smiling with purpose. And that's what left an impression on Leil. Missy hadn't lost her warmth. She had simply refined it. The final thought. So, what's the takeaway here? Your smile is a powerful social tool, but only when used deliberately. It sets the tone for the entire interaction. A smile that feels genuine can break the ice, build trust, and make people want to be around you. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time, stepping into a leadership role, or just trying to connect, don't forget the magic in your smile. Just use it wisely. How to use eye contact to appear smart, warm, and memorable. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and in communication, that couldn't be more accurate. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools we have when connecting with others. It can project confidence, spark attraction, and make you seem intelligent and attentive. But here's the catch. Eye contact isn't universal. In some cultures, it's seen as a sign of deep respect, even intimacy. In others, it might come across as intrusive, aggressive, or even offensive. So before anything else, it's important to understand the cultural context you're in and adjust accordingly. Still, in many parts of the world, especially in business and personal relationships, eye contact remains a cornerstone of effective communication. In the corporate world, maintaining steady eye contact can show leadership and focus. In romantic settings, it's often essential to creating emotional connection. In fact, locking eyes with someone for a few extra seconds can trigger a powerful biological reaction, increasing heart rate and emotional intensity. That's why deep eye contact often feels like something more personal, more meaningful, sometimes even like falling in love. A real story that proves its power. Author Leil Lowndes shares a fascinating moment from one of her seminars. She noticed a woman in the audience who seemed to be staring at her intently the entire time. Naturally, Leil became curious. After the session ended, she approached the woman, only to hear something unexpected. The woman explained that she had trouble hearing and was relying on lip reading. But since Leil kept turning her head while speaking, the woman couldn't follow along. What might have felt like intense eye contact was actually something else, a sign of effort, presence, and focus. Rather than brushing her off, Leil sat down with the woman after the seminar and walked her through the entire talk. That moment of connection and understanding was made possible, all because of the power of the eyes. Mastering the sticky eyes technique. One of the most effective methods in the book is something Leil calls sticky eyes. Here's how it works. When you're speaking to someone, imagine that your eyes are gently glued to theirs, not in a hard stare, but in a soft, focused connection. Don't glance away too quickly or let your attention drift. Instead, maintain that steady gaze, just long enough to create a feeling of warmth, care, and sincerity. And when the conversation ends, don't break eye contact suddenly. Let your gaze gently release, like you're slowly pulling away from something meaningful. This technique works especially well in emotional or persuasive conversations, whether with a boss, client, colleague, or even a stranger. It silently says, "I'm present. I see you. I care about what you're saying." A simple trick that changes perception. Leil recounts how one man, a salesman named Sammy, was known for accidentally offending people with his bluntness. She encouraged him to try the sticky eyes technique in his everyday conversations. Soon after, Sammy tested it during a casual dinner outing. But instead of simply placing an order with the waiter, he used slow, warm eye contact, along with a friendly smile. To his surprise, the waiter responded with a completely different energy. He was more engaged, more respectful, more human, and all Sammy had done was look at him differently. That's the hidden strength of this technique. It creates connection without words. It softens your presence, makes you more relatable, and leaves people feeling truly seen. Takeaway. The way you look at someone can change how they see you, and how they feel about themselves. By mastering your eye contact, you can instantly appear more intelligent, more sincere, and more charismatic. So the next time you speak with someone, don't just focus on what you're going to say. Focus on how you look at them, because sometimes the most powerful conversations are the ones that happen without saying a word. The eye contact trick that feels like falling in love. If you've ever heard of the sticky eyes technique, where you maintain gentle, focused eye contact to build warmth and sincerity, then get ready for its more intense cousin, epoxy eyes. Just like epoxy glue is known for bonding heavy-duty materials like wood and steel, epoxy eyes is a technique that creates a powerful emotional connection, sometimes even a spark of romance. This method is widely used by professionals, from psychologists and police officers to CEOs and HR managers. Why? Because it reveals something important: how people respond when they feel watched, chosen, or deeply seen. What are epoxy eyes? Unlike sticky eyes, which works best in one-on-one interactions, epoxy eyes requires 3 people. You, your target, the person you want to connect with, and a third person who is speaking. Now here's how it works. When you're in a group, say at a party, meeting, or social event, instead of focusing your eyes on the speaker, like most people do, you direct your gaze entirely toward your target, the person you want to impress, intrigue, or connect with. You don't look at the speaker. You don't even glance around. You keep your attention locked on your chosen person. What happens next is fascinating. Your target will begin to notice. They'll wonder, Why are you looking at me like that? They'll feel singled out, in a good way. And in a room full of people, they'll feel like they're the only one you see. That's the secret power of epoxy eyes. It makes your attention feel rare, deliberate, and intense. Using it at work. And knowing when not to litter. This technique isn't just for romantic chemistry. It can be incredibly effective in professional settings as well. Imagine you're a manager about to announce a new policy that may affect employees, like changes in schedules or responsibilities. You could have HR deliver the message. But while HR is speaking, you, the boss, focus your gaze entirely on the HR manager, not on the employees. Why? Because when employees notice that you're not watching them, they'll pay extra attention, not just to the announcement, but to your reaction. If they feel tense or unsure, your calm, detached eye contact with the speaker may signal control and confidence, or highlight discomfort. You'll be able to read the room without staring it down. In romantic settings, it gets even more powerful. Now, let's talk about the real charm of epoxy eyes, how it works in matters of the heart. Used the right way, this technique can make someone feel incredibly special. It sends a powerful, silent message, I can't take my eyes off you. When you maintain deep eye contact with someone you're attracted to, especially while someone else is talking, you create a moment of electric intimacy. There's even a scientific explanation for this. Extended eye contact triggers the release of phenylethylamine, a natural chemical the body releases during romantic or physical attraction. In short, it literally feels like love. But a word of caution, use this technique wisely. If you aim this kind of intense gaze at a stranger or someone who isn't expecting it, it might come off as creepy or intrusive. Always read the situation and adjust. If you sense your attention is becoming too much or too intense, ease off. Break your gaze occasionally by looking at the speaker or around the room. It's all about balance. Key takeaway. Epoxy eyes isn't just a flirtation trick. It's a powerful psychological tool. It makes people feel chosen, seen, and important. When used with intention and a bit of charm, it can melt defenses, build attraction, and create unforgettable moments, both in the boardroom and across a crowded room. Just remember, eye contact is like fire. Use it with purpose, and never let it burn too hot for too long. How to look like a winner. Everywhere you go, everyone loves the feeling of success. You know the moment when life goes your way, when you accomplish something big, or even when you're just in a great mood. Without even realizing it, your body reflects it. Your posture improves, your shoulders roll back, your head lifts slightly, your smile feels effortless, and your eyes light up with energy. That's what a winner's presence looks like. But here's the secret. You don't need to wait for a victory to feel like a winner. You can act like one, and the world will respond accordingly. Winners move differently. People who carry themselves with confidence don't do it by accident. There's a certain glow about them, not because of luck, but because they've trained themselves to embody success. They walk tall, they hold their heads high, and they project a calm, grounded authority even before saying a word. The good news? You can mirror that energy and make it your own, starting today. Inspired by the circus, Hang by your teeth. Leil Lowndes shares a fascinating childhood memory from the circus that inspired one of her most powerful posture techniques. As a little girl, she watched a famous acrobatic troupe called the Lowndes, known for their breathtaking human pyramids, performed high above the ground, without a safety net. It wasn't just the danger that captured her attention, it was their flawless posture. Even as they balanced on tightropes, their bodies stood tall and elegant, as if pulled upward by an invisible force. That invisible force. Leil calls it the hang-by-your-teeth technique. Here's how it works. Imagine there's a metal hook, like the ones used in circus acts, suspended above your head. Now picture yourself biting that hook with your teeth, as if it's pulling you gently upward. Your head naturally lifts, your spine lengthens, and your shoulders roll back. A subtle smile appears on your face, and you begin to radiate calm, poised confidence. This mental image alone can transform your body language. It gives you presence, it gives you grace, and it silently tells the world, I'm here, I belong, I'm in control. The bow. After the applause, Leil also noticed something else about the Lowndes, something even more powerful than their performance, how they ended it. After each daring act, they didn't slouch in exhaustion or rush off stage. Instead, they stood tall, backs straight, chins lifted, and took a collective bow with complete dignity and gratitude. Even in their final moments on stage, they looked like champions. The applause wasn't just for their skill, it was for the way they carried themselves at your everyday stage. You may never perform on a tightrope, and that's perfectly fine. But every room you walk into is a kind of stage. Every interaction, every meeting, every first impression is a moment where you can choose to show up like a winner. So the next time you walk into a room, pause for a second, lift your head, straighten your spine. Imagine that invisible hook pulling you gently upward. And let the world see you not just as who you are, but as the confident, magnetic person you're becoming. How to win hearts by responding to the inner child. By now, you've learned several tools to shape how others see you, techniques to boost your presence, improve your body language, and connect more authentically. But real influence goes deeper than how you appear. It's about how you make people feel. And in truth, every person, no matter how polished or professional, carries a soft, vulnerable part inside, an inner child, still longing to be seen, accepted, and loved. The hidden side of human connection. It's nearly impossible to walk up to someone and ask, "Do you like me?" Instead, we're left to read between the lines, to watch for subtle signals in their posture, facial expressions, and tone. Trial lawyers, for example, are trained to observe body language. They'll notice if a person leans in with curiosity or crosses their arms with resistance. Open palms often indicate comfort and agreement. Clenched fists or pursed lips may hint at tension or disapproval. Many attorneys even rely on female assistants during jury trials, not because women are more emotional, but because they're often better body language readers. But you don't need to be a lawyer to tune in. You just need to be present and attentive. The Big Baby Pivot, a technique inspired by children. Leil Lowndes, who also studied child psychology, shares a beautiful metaphor. Children are like flowers. When they feel safe and loved, they open up. When they feel unsure, they hide behind a parent or avert their gaze. She calls this powerful principle the big baby pivot. It's the idea that when you meet someone, you make them feel seen and special, not by flattery, but by giving them the same joyful attention a child gives someone they trust. Smile at them. Turn your body gently toward them. Let your eyes and face express genuine warmth, as if saying, "I'm happy you're here. It's disarming, it's magnetic, and it works." A real-life example, from hesitation to connection. Leil tells a touching story of attending a corporate party with her friend Carla, an attractive, recently divorced woman who was feeling hesitant and unsure of herself. As the night went on, Carla noticed glances and polite smiles from people in the room, but she didn't respond beyond a quick smile back. Though she wanted to connect, she wasn't sure how, and her reserved energy kept others at a distance. Then something unexpected happened. The host's young son, Willie, wandered over and asked Carla if she was enjoying the party. Carla beamed. She gave him a full, open-hearted smile, the kind that lights up a room. Willie grinned and wandered off. But something changed in that moment. Leil noticed the shift immediately. Now, others at the party were looking at Carla differently. They had seen her warmth, that spark, and were waiting for her to turn their way. Leil leaned over and gave Carla a tip. Use the big baby pivot. Whoever smiles at you next, give them that same big smile you gave Willie. Carla followed the advice. The next time someone smiled, she turned to them fully. Open posture, warm smile, full presence. Moments later, she was deep in conversation with a charming young man. By the end of the night, they were inseparable, and when the party ended, they left together laughing like old friends. Key takeaway. People may seem complex, guarded, or distant on the outside, but inside, we all crave acceptance, attention, and emotional safety. When you treat people like that inner child still lives inside them, when you respond to them not with judgment, but with warmth and playfulness, you unlock something magical. That's the essence of the big baby pivot. It doesn't require charm or strategy, just presence, kindness, and a willingness to say with your body language, "I see you. You matter." And in return, you'll often receive what everyone truly wants: genuine connection. Conclusion: mastering the art of connection. Whether you're aiming for a job promotion, trying to make new friends, or closing an important deal, one thing is clear: words alone aren't enough. How you communicate is just as powerful as what you say. In How to Talk to Anyone, Leil Lowndes reminds us that subtle, often overlooked nonverbal cues, like a smile, posture, or eye contact, can be the difference between being forgettable and unforgettable. Let's revisit the powerful tools you've learned. The flooded smile. A warm, delayed smile that feels personal and sincere, as if it's meant only for the person in front of you. It immediately builds trust and disarms tension. Sticky eyes, maintaining focused, gentle eye contact that creates intimacy and connection. It shows you're fully present, fully engaged. Epoxy eyes, a deeper form of connection in group settings, where you direct your full attention to one person, making them feel special, even in a crowd. Hang by your teeth, a posture technique inspired by acrobats, reminding you to stand tall, smile confidently, and hold your head high, even when no one's watching. The Big Baby Pivot. A mindset shift that encourages you to treat others with the warmth, attention, and joy you'd offer a child seeking affection, making people feel valued and emotionally safe. What these techniques really do. These strategies aren't just communication tricks. They're tools that reshape how others experience you. They build emotional resonance, boost your confidence, and allow you to inspire and influence with authenticity. When you apply them consistently, something powerful happens. They stop being techniques and start becoming habits, a natural part of who you are. The final message change doesn't happen overnight, but with intention, practice, and belief in yourself, you can transform the way you connect with people forever. So remember, you don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You just need to be the one who makes people feel seen, heard, and remembered. Because real communication isn't about talking. It's about making people feel something.